Hi everyone, it's Graham at Dent Detail. This video is going to be on some pretty bad damage on a Tesla Model 3 charge port side quarter panel. You can see here, looking at it, it's pretty bad. It's really rippled. The body lines pushed in 3 separate areas. You can see large crowns. There's some stretch damage above that main dent that's in the middle. The panel edge itself is bowed in. There's a lot to get at here. I think the customer just got sideswiped by another vehicle, but he's asked us if we can repair this, and yeah, we're going to take it on. The first thing we're going to do is straighten that panel edge out. Whenever there's big complex damage, we want to start by getting the panel shape back to where it was. If we didn't do this, we sort of repaired the dents themselves and didn't straighten out that arch edge, it can lock up the pressure if we come to repair it later on, and then could bring the dents back to where they were, because all the pressure's locked in and it's trying to get back out naturally to where it is. So we just used a slide hammer adapter to shock it back into shape, which it pretty much did. 95% of this repair is going to be glue pulling. The bottom edges, like you saw before, straightening out, we will do that with a slide hammer. Later on we will use the edge pliers to straighten out some bits that are just underneath that lip, but the rest of this repair will be glue pulling. We could get to some of the area through the back of the quarter panel on the inside, but the access isn't great, so we just decided to go all the way with a GPR. At the start of the repair, we didn't actually catch it on video because my camera stopped working. We used cold glue to get some of the bulk of the dents out, mainly that one above there that you can see that we're working on, just to rough it out, but the rest of it was all hot glue. You can see here a selection of different tabs. We've got dead centers there, hex tabs, Keco dead center ice, and the traditional dark blue flexible tabs. Because a lot of the damage was locked up, and mainly that one that was in the middle, we wanted to focus on that. We knew if we could get that central dent out, that the rest would come out relatively straightforward compared to that one. So whenever there's big complex damage like this, I always focus on the worst one first. If we get the worst area out and repaired, we know the rest is going to come out. There was a lot of opening up and resetting ourselves with that main locked in damage. Here you can see working on sort of the biggest dent that was in the quarter panel, but it necessarily wasn't the worst. Just because it's the biggest doesn't always mean it's the hardest to repair. It's quite soft this. Again, it's still gone through the body line, but it's nothing we can't pull out with a glue pulling. You can see him putting some hot glue there on a curved Keco centipede tab. And this is going to go straight over that body line, so I'm lining that up the spine of the neck of the tabs directly over that body line. I'm going to pull this out with a Keco K-beam Junior under controlled pulling. What I'm doing there, where the glue isn't gone all the way around the tab, and just filling that in around the edges. We want that tab to have glue all the way over the base because we're pulling out that large surface area. Then loading on the curved tab tracks, so when that's on the K-beam Junior, as it's a solid tab track adapter, that'll pull up the full tab in one go rather than just pulling out the center, pulling it up. We want the full area to come out, and this tool's really good at doing that. As that dent gets smaller, our tabs get smaller, so we'll do some pulling, some knocking down, assess it, see what needs to come up next. As we're doing a lot of repair in one go, we can load up a few tabs while one sets. We can glue up another tab, let that set, and as that's going off, take off the next tab. As we're working down, we've moved back over to the other side here now. The tabs obviously are getting smaller and thinner as the dent is getting smaller and thinner. We use a lot of the slide arm on this job, mainly over the body line, because it's tougher than a smooth area or a flat area as such. when it comes to the body line, where the deepest part of the dents were, we want to try and shock it out. I prefer to shock it out on the body lines and then tap it back down and work it out that way. Using the robo lifter here, bit more of a control pull. We're working underneath that body line now. It's on these panels, it's really flexible along that lip, so I don't need to shock it out as much here. What you see me just place there is one of the Keco slappers, which mainly is used for knocking down crowns, so you're not put like lumps in here and there, but I'm using that to level out the feet, because one side of that arch is flat and then obviously over the body line it's curved. We want the robo lifter to be coming out linear, so it's not coming out cocked or at an angle. If it does that, you can pull a dent out of an angle and it's not going to get a true pull. You'd end up making more work for yourself, so we'll just use that to steady it. Looking here, there's not really much left now. What I'm using here is the edge pliers, so any areas that weren't quite straight with the initial slide hammer pulls at the start, I'm just tweaking the edges out here now. Underneath the lip on the other side there is another skin, so what this is trying to do is shape out the bits that are underneath that skin. It's a really good tool, I use it all the time. So here's a finished result. We think we've got a pretty good job out of this. Because the damage was so severe, it was something I said to the customer, look, it's probably not going to be 100%, but as you can see, we've got it really nice. Customer was absolutely over the moon with this. We saved him a massive body shop repair. It's not needed any filling, it's not needed any painting. I haven't had to power the car down. We can do if we need to push it, we're trained to do that, but I went for a full repair on the outside of the panel and really pleased with it. It's come out really well. So if you have any damage like this and would like us to help, head to www.dentdetailpdr.com.